here are the things that we promised you, and like good business people, we're going to deliver on these promises and try to make the system better. So the wall is at the top of the list for the president, and so I can assure you that it's going to get done.
That's the White House new communications director assuring America that the president will make good on one of his signature campaign promises, building that wall. Here to react now is Trump Hispanic Advisory Council member and Fox News contributor Steve Cortez. Steve, nice to see you this morning.
Clayton, thanks for having me.
You bet. You're friends with Anthony Scaramucci. You know him well. When he says that building that border wall is on Steve Bannon's whiteboard in his office as one of the top achievements that the White House wants to accomplish, you totally believe him on that, right?
I certainly do. And one of the reasons I believe him, and I'm so happy that Anthony Scaramucci's in this role as communications director, is that he's a can-do person. He's an entrepreneur. He's built companies, as the president has, and now the president is going to build a wall. It's a promise kept, for one thing, which I think is incredibly important. I'll tell you, during the campaign, both Anthony and I worked very hard to get this president elected. During the campaign, when we go to rallies, one of the things that actually, not one of, the thing that got the loudest applause from his rallies was talking about building the wall. And it's not because, by the way, it's anti-Mexico or because it's anti-immigrant. As a matter of fact, I would argue it's the opposite. Getting control of our southern border, which has been far too lawless and far too open for far too long, makes sensible economic policy,
right,
national security policy, and it reinforces legal, lawful, orderly immigration.
Of course, you know, Steve, Democrats, of course, have been anti-wall from the beginning. That's no secret. But some on the right have been saying this has not been moving quickly enough. And Republicans have been criticizing the president for the progress, the lack of progress on the border wall. How do you deal with that if you're in the White House?
Well, Clayton, look, nothing moves quickly enough in Washington, D.C., and I think a lot of us on Team Trump have been frustrated, of course, at the pace of change. However, it is happening. There's already been some prototypes built. Full construction will commence next year, and it's going to happen. And here's the thing, too. It's not anti-Mexico because Mexico, so often, first of all, good fences make for good fences make for good neighbors. But guess who else has a problem on their southern border? Mexico does. And largely because migrants are coming all the way through Mexico with the end goal of coming to the United States. So the sooner that we get full control of our border, the sooner Mexico doesn't have such a problem on its southern border. What I find amazing, by the way, is before the actual wall even gets constructed, this president has already largely gained control of our southern border. ICE tells us that illegal crossings are down as much as 70% year over year, and that's just from better enforcement and very clear-eyed rhetoric about our seriousness about this issue.
And I want to get your take on this next story, which is exactly on that same topic. The U.S. immigration raids are targeting these teenagers. We learned, according to an internal memo seen by Reuters, that teenagers will be targeted. 16 and 17-year-olds coming across the border, teenage gang members, and we could see this starting really next week. What's going on here?
Well, Clinton, I think the important part there is that these are gang members. So it's not as though that ICE is going to be going to playgrounds looking for illegal immigrant children and pulling them off a swing set. That's not what's happening here. We're talking about dangerous people, many of them members of transnational gangs like MS-13, who are known gang members who are not supposed to be here in the first place. And I think here's the important principle. If you're not allowed to be here in the first place, if you're here without permission, and then on top of that, you're dangerous, you've either committed crimes or you're a known gang member, you need to be gone yesterday. And why? Because we had to put the safety and security of our citizens, whether they're legal immigrants or native born, the safety and security of our citizens has to come first. And I'm so glad that Donald Trump has quickly, and we don't have to wait for this. Enforcement began immediately. He has taken the shackles off of ICE to do its job effectively.
All right, Steve Cortez, thanks so much. We appreciate you joining us this morning, Steve. Thanks.
Thank you.